With more than 200 years of total workforce experience in lubricants, Hi-tec Oils is Australia's largest independent oil manufacturer, developing and producing oils, lubricants and additives. Hi-tec engines need Hi-tec Oils.
Seven drivers have battled it out. Back on the gas. Look at those eyes. Over 4 grueling rounds. Oh my goodness, Immortal came out of the water. It comes down to this, the final round. Who will be the 2013 Hi-tec Oils Blown Lites champion? It's the final round, and it all comes down to this. Everybody wants a piece of the action. We spoke to the stars of the show a little earlier to ask how they're going to go.
Probably about third or fourth at the moment, but I'm trying to beat my other fellow Queenslander to get on the podium. So, good battles today. Hopefully will get me into the podium.
It's just going to be a big effort from the team to get there. We've got to push hard. Hopefully we can do something about it.
The championship's all about consistency, and we've had a good run all year. Look, apart from the gearbox issue at Pikes Creek, which cost us two races, and our plan is this weekend is to get through today and then take stock of tomorrow when that happens.
Oh, it meant a lot. It meant a lot to get your name on the trophy, especially to be the first one. So I think it'd be a good feather in the cap if we could do it.
Mark being out sort of opens the field up to try and get a podium for other players, particularly me. So hopefully my goal for this weekend is to win the round, put my name on the #1 trophy for this weekend, and get on the podium for the series. It's a big year, and to do 20 races through the championship, but to finish on top is great. It'd be pretty hard to go through the championship, knowing that you're at the pointy end of the field and fall over right at the end. I believe Brent's been the biggest improver in the last 2 rounds. He had a really good show up at Laidley, and then I think he'll be up there. He got pole 2 in the shootout yesterday. We got the pole 1, but he was only marginally off it. It'd only take a little bit of a hiccup, and he'll be there.
Yeah, no, it's not a good start for the last round for me. Yeah, I had a fuel line come loose and came off and leaned the engine out and burnt 4 cylinders by the look of it. It's still in one piece, but it's terminal for the weekend.
So it's time to put the boats in the water on the beautiful Hawkesbury River in Windsor, New South Wales. The boss, as always, a long way from home. The kids never too far with the technology, that's for sure. Let's take a look at the points. We're coming to the final round of the Hi-tec Oils Blown Lites Championship. Nothing in it between Immortal and Bad Intent. Bad Influence Decision. And Cleveland Freight Line's the boss as well. Kids here in their droves. The fans love all this. I'm joined in commentary by Lumpy on a very small track. Compared to what we're used to, it's extremely narrow. We're looking at highlights here. Only 3 boats in every race, Lumpy, because there's just not the room.
That's exactly right, Wade. It is a very tight track here at Windsor. And as we look at Decision just coming in there, Timmy Magan and Randy Muff on the outside, and they head down. Beautiful day here for racing, Wade.
Yeah, the water is perfect. You can see maybe getting a little bit unsettled, but Brent Lewis, Australia's most eligible bachelor from the Gold Coast. Nice little tight corner there, that's for sure. Of course, it's only about 700 metres long, a couple hundred metres shorter than some of the other places we go to. And Lewis, a great win in Decision. The boat sounds fantastic. Very close finish in the end. Good result too for Bad Intent for Rod McKay. Let's go to the bank and catch up with our winner.
Yes, had a really good battle there with Tim Majors, the first boy. We were very close to the first boy, but was able to do a good corner and win the race convincingly in the end, which is good.
And it definitely looked like you were pedaling with lots of air out there.
Yeah, got a little bit of attitude off the corners there, so we just got to tame that down a bit so we can go forward rather than up, and hopefully we'll have a good weekend.
Yeah, listing his career achievements that he wants to meet Elle Macpherson one day. Not sure if that's about to happen, but have a crack, Brent. Looking at highlights now of the second time the boys hit the water here, and a bit of a mistake from Quinn, Lumpy, that cost him badly.
Yeah, he went inside the lead-out boy there, and he'll end up in the judges' caravan for sure for that one, and obviously been disqualified. And he'll only, Matty will let you know that he did beat him, but only on disqualification.
Very disappointing for Quinn, that's for sure, but well done, Matty Stone. Great to have him doing a nice job in that gorgeous Hi-tec Oils boat.
I didn't do a warm-up lap this morning, and the lead-out boy sort of caught me off guard a little bit there, and before I knew it, I was through the middle of it, and which gives you a penalty, and the club's decreed there's a penalty, and Yeah, they've given me a 1 lap penalty, but so I still get second place with 96 points in the bag, and that's what I'm happy about.
Well, unfortunately, DQ got DQ'd, but he will learn from that, that's for sure. Just a innocent mistake. Oh, look at this. The fan club are down here for Matty Stone as well. Let's take a look at race 2. Heat number 1, your lineup, or the poles, as they call it in boat racing. Bad Intent, Hi-tec Oils, Sucker Punch, and Immortal about to go after it. Just the 3 boats. They're divided into 2 different races because of the narrowness of this circuit. We get set to go, waiting for that flag to go down. Final round of the Hi-tec Oils Australian Blown Lites Championship. And away we go. Great stuff for Stone Lumpy. Man, that thing's a rocket in a straight line.
It is absolutely on fire this weekend, Wade. Matty was absolutely crook last time, but he couldn't drive it lately. But he's come back with a vengeance, and he's absolutely peddling the you-know-what off that, I should say.
He runs very, very wide just then. The boys trying to make up some ground. So they work their way past the paddle steamer in the background. What a contrast in speed. Gee, this thing looks wicked, doesn't it?
It does indeed. He's out in front, and he's going to... It is his home track, after all, being Windsor, and he's out to prove it in front of his home crowd, mate.
Very strong run in there. Oh, Stone! What happened then?
Looks like he's had a bit of a wash down. He hosed himself down, or maybe somebody's hosed him down. Let's see if he can get it going and compete back in the race again, Wade.
Bad Intent, however, right on the job. Stone fires it back up, and he looks pretty angry the way the boat just stood out of the water, so obviously he's tramped it. But Intent about to drive away with the win. Oh man, Stone will be gutted, but you've got to be good. You've got to be lucky as well. And Rod McKay, one of the great characters of the sport, the rocket on his final lap.
Absolutely, and the good thing about it is Matty will just dust himself off and keep going and see what happens. He, like I said, it is his home crowd, and Rod McKay up there from Queensland, he's doing a fantastic job.
His brother Mick does all the mechanical work on this boat, and we know that Rod loves to fire up with a bit of AC/DC, let's face it, who doesn't? And it's a long way to the top, but not in this case, because he has done an excellent job. It's a jailbreak for the man out in front for Bad Intent. Rod McKay, the rocket from Beerwah in Queensland, will score the win. Stone will be left scratching his head. They'll have to sort some problems out before the next race, but that's a great win for this very nice Bad Intent Child's Play boat.
Let's just hope it's nothing too serious there for Matty, and he can get it back on the water for the next run.
There's the results. Intent, the winner from Immortal. And an interesting driver combination. We're going to talk about that later. Matt Stone in Hi-tec Oils across the line in 3rd.
Yeah, Matty and I have had some ding-dong battles over this past season, and yeah, it was shaping up to another good one. So, unfortunately, he had a problem, and yeah, I lost sight of him for a little while. So,
yeah, went out and did a couple of laps, and yeah, it's foreign to me. The seating position's not good, but yeah, in that heat of the blown lights, yeah, a bit dirty on myself. I missed the start a little bit, but after that, I think I went not too bad. They tell me I was all right, so yeah, it was all good.
Welcome back. Wow, there's some great vantage points here on the Hawkesbury. That is one of them. Oh my goodness, that is how dedicated our camera team are to get the great shots. We get set for the next race. Oh, gorgeous conditions. Sun shimmering down over the water. Very pretty. Cleveland Freightline's boss, Timmy May. Bad Influence and Decision, Brent Lewis, who's already had a pretty strong win so far today. Now, we've seen a bit of driver swapping and going on with things. Mark Gauci missing from this weekend. Unfortunately, well, fortunately for him, his lovely wife presented them with a beautiful baby, and he's off prioritising, as you should. But he's missing the racing. As a result, the championship has basically gone out the window for him. On board with Timmy May. We'll talk about that more soon. Timmy, what a great character this bloke is, the farmer from South Australia.
He is indeed, and you know, as they say, nature's gentleman, this guy. You have a chat to him, and he's only too happy.
Oh, did he nail the boy
I
there?
think he did. He might be in the judges' caravan as well.
Wow, he certainly looked like in the air. It's laying on its side. Awfully difficult to say, no, I didn't touch it, when the thing is traumatised and laying in the water. Bad Influence, though, doing the biz. They sound fantastic, these boats. They really do have a spectacular note to them, Lump.
Yeah, they do indeed, Wade. It's a credit to the Bad Influence team about how they get the power to the water. The BG race engine, they're incredible.
Brent Lewis there, Decision. He's been weapon fast already. It's been around the sport a long time. The Lewis family really have had a very, very proud history in the game. It's an Evercraft which is basically fitted out by himself. Look at Timmy May flying the nose here. The South Aussie farmer ploughing through this circuit here at Windsor on the gorgeous Hawkesbury. A great crowd off to the right as well. They've really enjoyed their blown lights racing across the many rounds we've had this year.
It is spectacular racing. I mean, it's close racing at its best, as they say. There's Darryl Quinn heading up to the top turn, boy.
Yeah, the assassin who lives in Glenmore Park, which is only a stone's throw down the M4 from this area. So tremendous job for Quinny, known as the assassin. He's actually a pest controller. Sort of makes it sound like he's a bit of a dark man when you call him the assassin, but he's knocking off spiders and termites and things like that, and he's knocking off the rest of the field. He certainly assassinated these guys. Timmy May, despite tagging the boy earlier on, will come home in second. Not sure if that result will stand. There'll be a bit of a penalty applied for that. Influence getting the win from Cleveland Freight Line's boss, Brent Lewis. Ooh, not the best run for him in that third spot.
We're in our zone a little bit better there. The first race is always hard to get out of the way and the nerves are still there, but come the second race of the day, it all falls into place and we got a good launch again and away we went. And this time I remembered to go outside the pole and instead of going inside it, and it just led the boat all the way from there, and it was, a nice little race to shake it down with again.
Oh, it was a pretty good first lap. The second lap got a bit more interesting once we lost a little bit of pressure on our cav pedal, and we had to sort of wing it from there, so it wasn't a good finish to the race, but I'm pretty happy with the speed down the front chute.
Hi, I'm Matt Stone from the Hi-tec Oils Racing team. This weekend at the Windsor Spectacular, we're talking gearboxes. Gearboxes play a major part in the team setup. The ratios in the gearbox play a huge part. Some teams have gone for a low ratio, around 29%. Some of the other teams are relying on torque of the engine and run a bigger gear ratio of 58%. Then what we do, we run a direct drive coming off the front of the engine. It goes to the gearbox, and then whatever speed the engine's doing, the gearbox changes that speed into the propeller speed. So if we're running 58% in the box, that means whatever engine speed we're doing, it's times 58%, and that's what the propeller's doing. Now how the propeller works with the shaft in the gearbox is when we come into a corner, the actual gearbox disengages and goes into a neutral position. If we have an engine failure that we're racing down and we have a blow up and the engine locks up, the gearbox automatically goes into neutral. That stops major accidents happening.
Yes, thanks to the Stone man, Matty Stone, for giving us a bit of a tech tip in the pits just then. We are, well, normally you would say rolling out. In this case, we are bobbing out for the next race. And little fella, wow, you know you're doing well when a little kid looks up from his DS to watch something else.
When you get his attention, that's exactly right.
We're underway. Influence off to a very good start already. And the boys rock into turn one. Now Quinn on board, brand new sponsor for Hi-tec data logging systems, DTG intercoms and helmets, also from Castle Marine. And have a listen to this thing.
It is absolutely flying. He's got a bit of air under it there, and mate, he's done more laps around this circle than what Craig Lowndes done around Bathurst, I can tell you that.
Great job for Quinny. Storms home to get the win from Brent Lewis in decision. Brent started off the weekend in phenomenal form, but the sting has gone out of his tail just a bit, so let's hope he can recover from there.
Brenton right on the inside was always going to make it a lot harder from out at pole 3, but I believe they'll wind him in at the end of the straight. We're having a little bit of problem with our boat holding its nose and running through the clean water. It's losing a bit of power and falling over, so we're just adjusting that now. Our cavitation assistant, which keeps the boat steady in the water, has lost some spring pressure, so we're going to adjust that now and get back to where we need to be, and hopefully we'll just fly through the water a bit quicker on the next race.
Back out on the water right now, bright red shades of Matt Stone's Hi-tec Oils boat. As we come up to the line now, there's been a bit of driver changing going on in Immortal. We have a driver that's never driven that boat before, and that has been almost like a bit of a musical chair situation.
Well, the world title, Chris Whalen actually jumped in it and sacked himself from it because it was so quick. And now we've got Mal McCall in it, and he's absolutely driving the pants off it.
Now, Mal McCall, of course, drove it because Whalen sacked himself because Gouchy couldn't make it because he's now a father. His lovely wife has had a baby. So he's big hello to all the Gouchy family and the little Gouch as well. But we're on board with the boss, Tim May. What can McCall do with this boat?
He's unbelievable. He will absolutely, well, it's not his, so he can get an extra 500 reps out of it.
Driving like you stole it.
That's it.
Oh, look at this. Wow, the boys almost getting together then. Stone has it absolutely nailed, but here comes the run back up the inside. Immortal, McCall, great run up the inside on Stone. They're side by side.
As Matty gets a bit of a hose down there from out. Whoa!
Oh, geez, that was close. That was a big wriggle then as they head back towards the paddle steamer. Stone, that thing sounds sweet now. They've got it sorted, but he can't afford the lift. McCall is there in Immortal, right on it.
He is hot on his tail. And
oh, man! Have a look at that thing getting up out of the water. Boy, that thing is boogieing today again. Oh, my goodness, Stone.
That's what it's like going for a ride in a washing machine, Matty.
That is remarkable how much attitude that boat had just then. On board with Immortal. Looks like the Crown sponsorship down the side. This is ridiculous. Here's your Hi-tec replay.
Just look at the air under that way.
That
Phenomenal.
would have made the old Celine Dion CD skip a track or two inside Matty's boat, I'm sure.
I wouldn't be like to clean out his race suit, I can tell you.
Wow, that's a strong drive. He never lifted. He's got a set. Well, Stone by name, Stones by nature. He'll get the win. Great drive. The Hi-tec Oils, 127. Man, that was committed right then. I thought he was going to lift for sure. He just didn't. McCall across the line in second and Immortal. Starting to get used to that gouchy boat. And you go back to third to Timmy May. Man, some serious wriggling going on there. Stone, the winner.
Yeah, no, it was good fun. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. Second run in the Immortal boat, but yeah, and I went out and gave it my best shot. The boat showed extreme top end speed, and I'd run Matty down before the corners, and we had some pretty tight corners. And anyway, he came out the victor, but it was all good fun.
It's pretty well. That's probably the hardest 3 laps I've had to race. Maybe not the right propeller choice for that race. The boat didn't like the rough water. It sort of tracked a little bit, but at least we're finishing races. We're getting some seat time, and can't wait for Heat 2.
Yeah, you just saw the Roland Jarn race engine side of things in the background just then. We prepare. blownlites.com.au is the website to check out all the action. Lots of corporate support here as well, and some great fan base action as well. The sport looking to expand. Lots of exciting news for next year. Can't say too much at the moment, but it's going to be very, very cool. Now, Bad Intent, they've had some pretty bad luck coming to this event, Lumpy.
They did indeed. They threw a blade off it, but they've had to do a bit of fiberglass work to it as well. And on the Friday, it dropped a valve, and Roland Jarn actually did the head on it to get him in the race.
Remarkable. It was only 2 weeks ago that they dropped the blade, and unfortunately, it had a pronounced effect on the hull. We're on board with Brent Lewis. He looks better this time around. He started off lightning quick, like all of a sudden Earl McPherson was on the finish line. Then he sort of faded away, and now he's coming back on. The man with the very flash beard is smoking around this place. He too had the wriggles up just then.
Absolutely. He must have a picture of Earl McPherson on the deck, I'm saying. Well, it's just phenomenal how he's driving that thing. It's unbelievable. Back shot out of Bad Intent there.
On board with Rod McKay. Great campaigner, that's for sure. Very colourful identity. That's one thing that's great about this sport. They do have some really good personalities racing the craft. It's a very compact sport. We're racing literally inside a 1 kilometre zone on the Hawkesbury here. They sound great. They get up out of the water. They rock the house, and people of all ages, even kids, look up from their DXs to see what's going on.
Mate, the kids love it. And the signing session's a great idea for this sport.
Yeah, it gives the fans a chance to rub shoulders and sort of get a bit of a one-on-one encounter with the guys. On board we were, and now we're watching him rock by us. Decision, Brent Lewis really starting to get to grips with this boat now. Just a very, very powerful craft. He's known as the Gadget Man. Loves to play around with high-tech gadgets and things like that. Leaping out of the water off that top turn. No one's going to catch him. Not even Rod McKay's got anything for him this time.
No, and he's come down from the Gold Coast and shown us what it's all about. And bit of a moment there.
Man, the boys are really going after it today. The course might be slightly smaller than what we're used to, but the action has been just as big. Decision, your winner from Bad Intent and Immortal in third. That is your leaderboard, thanks to Tiger Performance, IES, and Procel Marine.
Yeah, no, to finish first in the last race is good. Hopefully that's given me enough points to win this round. I think it's pretty close between a few of the competitors here this weekend, so hopefully I get my name on one of the 1, 2 or 3 trophy, and then hopefully that's helped me to get onto the podium for the series.
And there's every chance that could happen. Now there is Mal McCall signing the posters for the chase, though he's not actually driving that boat this weekend. The kids loving the Hi-tec Oils show bags. Matty Stone just giving a lucky little fella a cool high-tech cap as well. This this is really a good chance for the fans to get to meet the drivers and, well, they're not such big angry monsters after all.
No, that's exactly right. And look, that kid's going to wear that shirt for the rest of his life, I would say. He's in love with that shirt. But it's good for the adults as well as it is for the kids, Wade.
Time now to roll the marbles for the final time in the series. It's been some phenomenal racing. Good crowd here at Windsor in New South Wales near the Hawkesbury River. Here is the final heat race right now, thanks to Hi-tec Oils, your Blown Lites series, and Cleveland Freightline's boss, Tim Mays. Had a pretty solid weekend. Bad Influence and Hi-tec Oils sucker punch of Matty Stone. So here we go, our last race for the weekend, last chance to get your points. Who is going to end up series champ? Who's going to win round honours as well? May, closest to the boat, we drop the flag and we're racing.
It looked like Darryl was a little bit in front there as the flag dropped. He did hold the flag up for a little while, but mate, it's game on by the looks of it.
May has the inside line here, pole one. They can't cross across those pole lines until they come out of this turn right now. May tightens it up. Quinn certainly learnt from his mistakes earlier on in the day.
It looks like it. That deep V, Stevens rocking back and forth. Here we go. This is a little bit close.
Look at Stone on the outside now, trimming the toenails of the fans as he rocks down this big straightaway and then hurls her in on the left-hand side. Sucker punch coming up to Tim May. Hasn't Tim flying?
He's unbelievable. He's really taken it up to Matty.
The quietly spoken farmer takes on, well, the veteran South Aussie takes on the 30-year-old from Penrith in New South Wales, his local round. The Carpenter trying to carve out a good win here. Oh man, look at that.
He doesn't want to disappoint Matty.
Wow, just driving away the Hi-tec Oils boat in good touch. The boat has certainly given him his fair share of palpitations a couple of times, including Dad. I think he would have been clutching at his heart a few times when that thing got a big wriggle up in the previous race. But he's opened up a nice advantage. And Stone, you would think he'd be looking good for a round win here.
Absolutely. The hard work that they put into that boat has obviously paid off, and he is in front by country mile.
Well done to all the guys. Motorsport Connections, Hi-tec Oils, Motec, Castle Marine, and Tiger Performance right behind this young guy. Great drive. Little niece Emerson will be wrapped with the win for Uncle Matty. He storms home. Oh, again. And the fans absolutely loving that.
Loving it.
Very, very pleased indeed. Tim May solid this weekend, the veteran farmer from South Aussie. So, points-wise, this will be interesting. There's your results. And Hi-tec Oils sucker punch getting the win. Influence strong. Timmy May very strong as well in boss. Points. That's what I'm interested in, to see where they fare in all of that. So let's take a look at third place. Brent Lewis, third for the round. Fans loving that. Very popular driver, that's for sure. Quinny ends up with second for the round. He wears a wry grin. But your round winner, Matt Stone, great job with the Hi-tec Oils banner in the background. We'll be absolutely thrilled with that effort. The series winner, though, is this man, DQ, Darryl Quinn. Congratulations. In the end, there was not much in it, was there? Around about 45 points between first and second. Immortal in second, Decision in third, Intent in fourth. Back to the boss, Sucker Punch, and the Chase. Here is your series champion.
Oh, look, you know, there's certainly an elation deep inside, but there's a bit of mixed feelings as well, knowing that the last race of the day that we didn't have our best package, and you know, puts us out for some of the feature races. But look, it's been a long year, a lot of travelling, a lot of time off from work. You know, it's just one of those things that you got to make the decision. You either do it or you don't. So if you make the decision, you do it and follow through. You know, no half measures here. If we say we're going to do something, we'll go all the way. And it's nice to come to the last round and be at home, and I have to travel. I know that.
To come up here to my home track, Friday wasn't a good day for us, but to get 3 wins over the weekend and the third, bring the Hi-tec Oils SPR boat home in first place. Huge confident boost for the team for next year. Bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on indeed, Matty Stone. It's going to be a massive year in 2014. I can't say too much. Tell you what, it's going to be exciting at the finish, if you know what I mean. Great championship this year. Well done to all the teams that took part in it. We look forward to more of your company when the 2014 Blown Lites burst into action. Enjoy. Leave the speeding to us. We'll see you next time. Look at Stone on the outside now. Here comes the run back up the inside. Oh, did he nail the boy?
I think he did.
Boy, that thing is boogie.